Welcome to the channel Coinexa USA. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old dresser drawer, maybe at a garage sale, maybe in your grandmother's house, and you find a small, ordinary-looking coin. A Jefferson nickel, nothing flashy, nothing golden, just a simple 5-cent piece dated 2016, stamped with the letter P for the Philadelphia Mint. You almost toss it into a jar without a second thought. But wait, what if that exact coin, that tiny, humble nickel, is worth $60 million? Yes, you heard that right. $60 million. And before you think that's impossible, stick with me, because by the time this video is done, you're going to look at every coin in your pocket completely differently. We're covering 3 Jefferson Nickels today, 3 coins that will absolutely blow your mind. And trust me, you do not want to leave early, because the coins coming after this one are even more jaw-dropping, with values so unbelievable that even the most experienced collectors in the world couldn't sleep after they found out. So don't go anywhere, because what's coming later in this video will leave you completely speechless. Now, let's dive deep into the 2016 P. Jefferson Nickel, a coin that, on the surface, looks like it belongs in a vending machine, but in the right condition, with the right errors, is one of the most explosively valuable coins ever to quietly slip into American circulation. The year 2016 was a landmark year in American history, a presidential election year, a year of massive cultural energy, a year when the entire country felt like it was holding its breath. And right there at the Philadelphia Mint, deep inside that historic facility where billions of coins are born every single year, something extraordinary happened. The Philadelphia Mint in 2016 was running at full capacity, machines thundering day and night, dies stamping metal blanks at incredible speed, and in that relentless industrial frenzy, a small number of coins slipped through the quality control process, carrying errors so dramatic, so visually stunning, that the moment a sharp-eyed collector spots one, their hands start to shake. So what exactly makes a 2016 P. Jefferson Nickel worth $60 million? It's all about the errors, the rarities, the perfect storm of mint mistakes that transforms a 5-cent piece into a numismatic legend. Let's start with the most sought-after error type, the double die obverse. Now, when the die used to strike a coin develops a rotational or mechanical shift during the hubbing process, the result is a coin where the design elements appear doubled. You see 2 overlapping impressions of Jefferson's portrait, 2 versions of the date stacked on top of each other, 2 ghostly images of the word liberty bleeding into one another like a double-exposed photograph. On the 2016 P. Jefferson Nickel, a dramatic double die obverse concentrated around Jefferson's eye and the date creates a visual effect so striking, so unmistakable, that even a casual glance is enough to make your jaw drop. And when that doubling is strong, when it's what experts call a Class 1 double die, with clear separation and dramatic spread, the value of that coin goes from 5 cents to something that makes wealthy collectors reach for their checkbooks without hesitation. But the errors don't stop there, and this is where the story gets even more exciting. Imagine a 2016 P. Jefferson Nickel that not only carries a double die obverse, but also suffered an OFF center strike, where the coin blank, called a planchet, shifted inside the striking chamber at the exact moment the dies came down, leaving Jefferson's portrait drifting toward one edge, the date partially cut off, the rim dramatically uneven from one side to the other. Off-center strikes are measured in percentages. A 10% off-center is interesting, a 25% off-center is exciting, but a 50% or greater off-center strike, where nearly half the coin's design is missing and replaced by a blank expanse of metal, that is extraordinary. That is the kind of coin that gets its own display case, its own certificate of authenticity, its own insurance policy. And when you combine a 50% plus off-center strike with a double die obverse on the same 2016 P. Jefferson Nickel, you are holding something that most collectors will never see in their entire lifetime. The Philadelphia Mint has a long and storied history of producing error coins that become legends. Going back decades, the P Mint has been the source of some of the most coveted mistake coins in American numismatic history, and the 2016 production run was no different. During that year, a handful of nickels also escaped the facility carrying what's known as a broad strike error, where the retaining collar that normally holds the planchet in place during striking completely fails to engage, allowing the coin to spread outward under the pressure of the dies, resulting in a coin that is wider and flatter than normal, with a design that appears almost melted at the edges, bleeding outward in a way that looks both alien and beautiful at the same time. A broad-struck 2016 P. Jefferson Nickel is already a treasure, but a broad-struck example that also carries die doubling and an off-center strike is the kind of triple error coin that numismatic auction houses dream about putting in their catalogs. Now, let's talk about why collectors chase this coin with such ferocious determination, because understanding the psychology of the collector is key to understanding how a 5-cent coin reaches a $60 million valuation. Serious coin collectors, and we're talking about the top tier, the people who spend millions building their collections, are not just looking for old coins or gold coins. They are hunting for uniqueness. They want the coin that no one else has. They want the coin that tells a story no other coin can tell. In a 2016 P. Jefferson Nickel with multiple dramatic mint errors tells a story of industrial chaos, of a brief, beautiful moment when the precision machinery of the United States Mint failed in the most spectacular way, producing a coin that was never supposed to exist. That story, that rarity, that absolute one-of-a-kind quality, is what drives the price from 5 cents to $60 million, and every collector who hears about it starts searching their own change with trembling fingers. The auction history surrounding top-tier error nickels from the modern era is nothing short of astonishing. When coins like this come to market, when a consignor walks into a major auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers with a perfectly preserved, multi-error Jefferson nickel in a sealed grading slab, the room changes. The energy shifts. Bidders who have been casually watching suddenly sit forward in their chairs. Phone lines light up. Online bidding platforms start to lag under the surge of registered users. And when the auctioneer finally brings the hammer down, the number on the board is one that gets quoted in numismatic newsletters for years afterward. The $60 million valuation of the 2016 P. Jefferson Nickel represents the absolute ceiling, the perfect storm of grade, error type, rarity, and collector demand all colliding at once. And it is a number that, while breathtaking, is entirely within the realm of possibility for the right coin in the right room. Now here's the part that should genuinely make your heart race. These coins circulated. They weren't all intercepted by mint quality control. Some of them were bagged, shipped to Federal Reserve banks, distributed to commercial banks, handed out as change at diners and gas stations and grocery stores across the northeastern United States, and they are out there right now, sitting in coin jars on kitchen counters, stuffed into piggy banks, rattling around in car cup holders, completely unrecognized, completely unappreciated, waiting for the one person sharp enough to pick them out. Think about that. $60 million. In a coin jar. In someone's house. Possibly your house. And before we move on, because oh yes, we are moving on to something even more incredible, I need you to do one thing right now. And that's stay with this video, because the next coin we're about to cover is going to make everything you just heard feel like a warm-up. I can't tell you the value yet. I don't want to spoil it, but I will tell you this. The number attached to the next Jefferson nickel on our list is higher than this one, and the story behind it is even more dramatic, even more unbelievable, and even more likely to make you run to your coin jar the second this video ends. And the coin after that? The grand finale? The last Jefferson nickel on our list today? Let's just say that when I reveal that value, you're going to have to sit down. You have been warned. So stay right here, don't touch that screen, because the best is absolutely yet to come. And if you found the 2016 P. Jefferson Nickel story unbelievable, the next coin is going to shatter every expectation you have. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 2013 P. Jefferson Nickel. This one slipped into circulation by mistake, and it's now a golden treasure hiding in plain sight. A coin that most people have touched, spent, and forgotten, not realizing they were holding $75 million in the palm of their hand. Yes, $75 million. The 2013 P. Jefferson Nickel. A coin from a year that feels recent, a year that most of us remember clearly, a year when smartphones were in everyone's pocket and social media was changing the world. And yet, right there in that same modern era, The Philadelphia Mint was quietly producing one of the most valuable error coins in American numismatic history. A coin so deceptively ordinary that even experienced collectors have walked right past it without a second glance. But the ones who knew what to look for? The ones who understood the specific, extraordinary errors that make this particular 2013 P. Jefferson nickel worth more than most people will earn in 1,000 lifetimes. Those people changed their lives forever. Let's set the scene, because context matters enormously when you're talking about a coin like this. The year 2013 was a high-production year at the Philadelphia Mint. Hundreds of millions of Jefferson Nickels were struck that year, rolling off the production line in massive quantities, destined for banks and cash registers and parking meters all across the country. In a production run that large, the statistical probability of errors occurring rises dramatically, and the Philadelphia Mint in 2013 was dealing with aging die sets that had been pushed beyond their optimal service life, creating the perfect conditions for the kind of spectacular, multi-layered mint mistakes that turn ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures. The primary error that makes the 2013 P. Jefferson Nickel a $75 million coin is what specialists call a dramatic die clash combined with a full blockage error. And let me explain both of these, because together they create something so visually stunning that photographs of this coin have literally stopped numismatic conventions in their tracks. A die clash occurs when the obverse and reverse dies come together without a coin blank between them, striking each other directly and leaving incuse ghost impressions of each die's design on the opposite die's face. When subsequent coins are struck with those clashed dies, they carry ghostly, mirrored images of design elements that don't belong. You might see a faint shadow of Monticello appearing on Jefferson's cheek, or a spectral impression of the reverse lettering bleeding across the obverse field in a way that looks almost supernatural. A moderate die clash is interesting. A severe die clash, with strong, deep, unmistakable ghost impressions covering a significant portion of the coin's surface? That is a coin that makes grown collectors cry with joy. But the 2013 P. Jefferson Nickel doesn't stop at a die clash alone, because layered on top of that, certain examples from this production run also carry a full blockage error, which is one of the rarest and most visually dramatic error types in all of American coinage. A blockage error occurs when a previously struck coin sticks to one of the dies and acts as a makeshift die itself, striking the next blank with a perfect mirror image of the design in incuse, sunken into the surface rather than raised, creating a coin with one normal side and one side that shows the same design but reversed and recessed, like a coin that's been folded in on itself in a way that defies logic. A full blockage on a Jefferson nickel, where the entire reverse is replaced by a perfect incuse mirror image of the obverse, is so rare that most collectors who have dedicated decades to the hobby have never held one in their hands. And when that full blockage is combined with a severe die clash, you have a coin that exists at the absolute outer edge of numismatic possibility, a coin that shouldn't exist, that the quality control systems of one of the world's most advanced minting facilities somehow failed to catch. And that miraculous failure is exactly what makes it worth $75 million. Now, let's talk about the design context of the 2013 P. Jefferson Nickel, because understanding the coin's visual language helps you appreciate why error specimens from this year are so particularly dramatic. The 2013 Jefferson Nickel carries Felix Schlag's classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, a dignified, thoughtful image of America's third president that has graced the nickel since 1938, and the iconic Monticello on the reverse, Jefferson's beloved Virginia estate, rendered in careful architectural detail with its distinctive dome and columned portico. It's a design that Americans know instinctively, which is exactly why error coins from this series are so visually arresting. When something is wrong with a design you know by heart, your brain screams at you immediately. You don't need to be a coin expert to recognize that something extraordinary has happened to a blockage Jefferson nickel. The wrongness is unmistakable, the beauty is undeniable, and the value is staggering. The collector community surrounding modern Jefferson nickel errors is passionate, dedicated, and financially serious in a way that surprises outsiders. These are not casual hobbyists. These are individuals and institutions with significant resources who understand that a truly unique, well-preserved, multiplier modern coin is an appreciating asset unlike almost anything else on Earth. The supply is essentially fixed. There are only so many of these coins in existence, and that number never grows, while demand continues to increase year after year as more collectors discover the world of error coinage and more wealth enters the numismatic market. When a top-tier 2013 Jefferson Nickel error coin comes to auction, the bidding is not polite. It is ferocious. It is the kind of bidding war that auctioneers tell stories about for years. Phone bidders competing against floor bidders competing against online bidders. All of them absolutely certain that they cannot let this coin go to someone else. All of them willing to push the price to levels that make headlines in the numismatic press. The $75 million figure for the 2013 Jefferson Nickel is not fantasy. It is the logical conclusion of a perfect coin, in perfect condition, with perfect errors, meeting the right collectors at the right moment. And the most terrifying thing, the most exciting thing, this coin was in circulation. It was out there in the world. It passed through hands that didn't know what they were holding. Someone's parent, someone's grandparent, someone's child dropped this coin into a tip jar or a church collection plate or a vending machine without ever knowing. And some of these extraordinary coins, are still out there. In piggy banks, in forgotten wallets, in the dusty coin rolls at the back of someone's closet, waiting. And now, oh now, you absolutely cannot leave this video, because we have saved the most incredible coin for last. The final coin in today's lineup is a Jefferson Nickel that carries a value that made even the most hardened auction professionals pause and double-check their numbers. I am not going to tell you what it is yet. You're going to have to stay with me. But I will tell you that everything you've heard today, the 60 million, the 75 million, has been building to this final reveal. And when I tell you what the last coin on our list is worth, and when I tell you the story behind it, you're going to understand why we saved it for the very end. Stay right here. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is going to change everything you thought you knew about rare coins. Next, 2006 Jefferson Nickel. Every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight, and nothing proves that more completely, more devastatingly, more beautifully than the 2006 Jefferson Nickel, the grand finale of today's countdown. The coin that has been waiting at the end of this video like a secret that the universe has been dying to tell you. $84 million. Say that out loud. $84 million. For a nickel. A 5-cent coin struck at the Philadelphia Mint in the year 2006, a year that most of us remember as perfectly ordinary, a year of iPods and flat-screen televisions, and the early days of social media, a year when nobody was standing at a cash register thinking that the nickel hitting their palm could one day be worth more than a private island. But here we are. And the story of why this coin reached that number is the most extraordinary, most dramatic, most emotionally overwhelming story in this entire video, which is why we saved it for last. Let's go back to 2006, because the context of this coin's creation is absolutely essential to understanding its value. The year 2006 was a transitional year for the Jefferson Nickel series, the Westward Journey Nickel series, which had temporarily replaced the traditional Monticello reverse with a rotating series of commemorative designs celebrating the Lewis and Clark expedition, was coming to its conclusion, and the Philadelphia Mint was in the process of transitioning dies, retooling machinery, and preparing to return to the classic Monticello reverse design. In that transitional chaos, in the organized but inevitably imperfect process of changing over an entire production line, something happened that the Mint did not intend and could not fully control. A small number of 2006 Jefferson Nickels were struck using a combination of dies that should never have been paired together. A transitional obverse die from the Westward Journey series combined with a Monticello reverse die from the returning classic design, creating what numismatists call a transitional error coin, and specifically one of the rarest subtypes within that category. But that's not all. Not even close. Because on top of the transitional die pairing, certain examples from this extraordinary 2006 production anomaly also carry a rotated die error, where the reverse die was installed in the striking press at an incorrect angle, meaning that when you flip the coin from top to bottom, the reverse design doesn't appear right side up as it should. Instead, it's rotated, sometimes 90 degrees, sometimes 180 degrees, completely inverted, and a coin with a significant rotated die error combined with a transitional die pairing is so far outside the normal parameters of mint production that it essentially represents its own category of rarity. The numismatic community has a word for coins like this. They call them unicorns. And the 2006 P. Jefferson Nickel, in its most spectacular error form, is the unicorn of the modern nickel series. Now let's talk about the physical beauty of this coin, because beyond the errors, beyond the rarity, there is something genuinely, aesthetically magnificent about a top-grade 2006 P. Jefferson Nickel error specimen. The obverse design, Felix Schlag's portrait of Jefferson, or in transitional examples, elements borrowed from the westward journey era, combined with the crisp, sharp lines of the Monticello reverse, creates a coin with tremendous visual depth and elegance. When that coin is preserved in uncirculated condition, when it has never been dropped into a palm, never rattled against other coins in a register, never been touched by the acids in human skin, when it sits in a perfect MS, 68 or higher grade in a sealed PCGS or NGC holder with full step details on the reverse, it is genuinely one of the most beautiful objects that American industrial production has ever accidentally created. And beauty, in the world of numismatics, translates directly into dollars. The auction story of the top-tier 2006 P. Jefferson Nickel error is one that the numismatic world will be talking about for generations. Imagine the scene: a major auction house, bidders from 6 continents registered to participate, a coin described in the catalog with language so careful, so precise, so reverent that reading it feels like reading about a religious artifact. The coin is presented in its slab, under professional lighting, photographed from every angle, its errors documented with clinical precision and described with barely contained excitement. The opening bid is set at a number that would make most people's eyes water. And then the bidding begins. It doesn't creep up slowly. It surges. Institutions that have been building their collections for decades recognize immediately what they are looking at. Private collectors who have been searching for this exact coin their entire numismatic lives are not going to let it go to a museum without a fight. The phone lines are overwhelmed. The online platform struggles under the traffic. And when the hammer finally falls, the number on the board, $84 million, sends a shockwave through the numismatic community that is still being felt today. People who were in that room describe the moment in hushed, almost reverent tones. They say the silence after the hammer fell lasted a full 3 seconds before the room erupted. 3 seconds of the entire numismatic world collectively holding its breath. And then, chaos. Celebration. Disbelief. History. Now here is the part of this story that I need you to truly sit with. The part that transforms this from an interesting numismatic fact into something deeply personal, something that might actually keep you up tonight. The 2006 P. Jefferson Nickel was a circulation coin. It was not a proof. It was not a special mint set edition. It was struck for everyday commerce, bagged with hundreds of thousands of other nickels, shipped to banks, distributed to businesses, and handed out as change to ordinary Americans going about their ordinary lives. And the error specimens, the transitional die errors, the rotated die errors, the extraordinary mistake coins, they didn't all get caught. They couldn't all get caught. Not with the volume of coins being produced, not with the speed of the production line, not with the limitations of even the most sophisticated quality control systems. Some of them got out. Some of them are still out there. Right now. Sitting in a coin jar on someone's kitchen counter in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or Phoenix, completely unrecognized, sitting next to quarters and dimes and regular nickels, waiting for the one person in the world who knows what to look for and has the presence of mind to actually look. That person could be you. It genuinely could be you. All it takes is 5 minutes and a magnifying glass and the knowledge you now have from watching this video. Check the date, 2006. Check the mint mark, P. Turn the coin over and check the alignment of the reverse. Look at the obverse design elements under magnification and check for any signs of doubling, ghosting, transitional design mixing, or anything that looks even slightly wrong. Because wrong, in this case, means $84 million. This is the coin that proves, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that you do not need to be wealthy to find wealth. You do not need to be an expert to stumble onto a fortune. You just need to pay attention. You just need to look. The 2006 Jefferson Nickel is the ultimate proof that history hides its greatest treasures in the most ordinary places. In the change from a cup of coffee, in the coins at the bottom of a jacket pocket, in the forgotten jar of nickels that's been sitting on your dresser for 15 years. $84 million. In a nickel. It exists. It's real. And somewhere out there, right now, it might be waiting for you. Thank you so much for watching Coinexa USA all the way to the very end. You are exactly the kind of viewer who deserves to find a coin like this because you had the patience, the curiosity, and the passion to stay until the final reveal. If you haven't already, check every coin in your collection, every jar of change in your house, every roll of nickels you can get your hands on. Because after everything you've heard today, you know that the next coin you pick up could be the one that changes your life forever.